Hi, I'm Sharoon and I moved to Japan in September 2019, and since then I've been living and working in this beautiful country. And there are a couple of things that Japan has changed in me, or the customs or habits that I've adopted while living here. Number one that comes to my mind right away is carrying a handkerchief. Now, even before moving to Japan, I remember that when I was living in South Korea and studying there, we had students from different parts of the world, and I remember there were like these two students from Japan, and every time when we had like a 5 to 10 minutes, like a bathroom break or something, all the students would go and we could see like we are wiping our hands with our clothes, or we are using the hand dryer in the bathroom. But these two Japanese girls, I remember, they would always carry their handkerchief, and whenever they would come back, we could see like they're wiping their hands with their handkerchief. And I didn't really notice that much, because to me it was like, every country people use handkerchief, and some people have, it's like they have this habit of carrying it and some do not. So maybe there are those two random Japanese people who use handkerchief. But even after moving to Japan, I was not really like, I noticed like a lot of people using handkerchiefs, but I was not thinking of like, oh, because like I should use it, or because everybody's using it. It was not like that until this one incident at my company where I was working. So I was working with a theater company here in Japan, and that was my first full-time job. And one of the rules that all the members of the studios was that they need to bring their own water bottle, plus they need to bring a handkerchief. And one day I remember that one of the students, she forgot to bring her handkerchief, and when after using the bathroom, she came out. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so after using the bathroom, she came out, and the staff was really like, I wouldn't say upset, but she really she strictly wanted to discipline her about this handkerchief. And she was like, see, because your hands are wet, you are dripping water everywhere, you're wiping your wet hand with your clothes, and it's probably making other people uncomfortable, and it's very inconsiderate of you, of other people. As you know, like Japan is known for being considerate and polite, and at that very moment, it like hit me. I was like, wow, okay, so it's not only about like them to dry their own hands, it's also about like other people, like thinking of other people, like you're making the floor wet and you're make other people uncomfortable and all that. And thinking of all that philosophy and deep thinking, I was like, okay, man, I maybe I should start using handkerchief. And honestly, like once I started using it, it became my habit. I use it all the time. Even right now, I have one handkerchief in my pocket. Now I feel uncomfortable if I do not have a handkerchief in my pocket. It's very much like when I feel uncomfortable when I do not have my phone in my pocket. It's very much like that. Number two, bringing my own obento or lunchbox to my workplace. Now, before moving to Japan, I lived in South Korea for more than 10 years. And in South Korea, it's not a big thing like where people bring their own lunchbox to their workplace. People prefer eating outside. But when I moved to Japan, I realized, especially if you take trains in the morning, you will see a lot of office people with their regular bag, like office bag. They also have this tiny bag, which is their obento. To me, I loved it because I prefer eating healthy food. And if I don't have something healthy with me, then I would just like randomly eat. But when I saw like, oh, people bring their lunchbox in the office and they eat in the office, like not like an impolite thing or anything. So I started, and whenever it's possible, I do prepare my own lunchbox and bring it to the office and eat it there. Number three, I became very careless. Now, what I mean by that is that I've started leaving things behind. Now, I'm originally from Pakistan, and if you leave your, your wallet or let's say your phone unattended, after a few seconds, it's gone. Now, living in Japan, because it's such a safe country, like when I go to a cafeteria to work with my, laptop or my phone or something, I can literally leave it on the table, go to the bathroom, come back, it's gonna be there. But if you do that same in my own country, it's not happening. And this is exactly what one of my friends told me, who is from France. Like she's also my colleague. We were working together, and I went to France last year, and she was like, Sharoon, you cannot do the same thing in France, because if you leave something there and after a few seconds it is gone. And not only my friend from France, but many other people that I know from different countries have told me this same thing. Like, you cannot do that in their country, but in Japan they can, because it is so safe. And I'm not saying that crimes do not happen here in Japan and it's just a perfect country. There is stealing happening, there are other crimes happening, but relatively it is pretty safe. And because of that safety, I've become so careless. My wife, she's Japanese, and she even tells me, like, you cannot just do it because it is Japan. But anyways, this is how Japan has changed me. Number 4 is bowing. Now, I lived in South Korea for a long time, and this is my 4th year in Japan right now. And both of these countries have this one thing in common, is like when they greet someone, they bow down. Now, because I've been living in these countries for a long time, it just became a habit. Even sometimes I don't need to do it, it just comes out. Even like on my phone, like you will notice, like in Japan, even when you're talking on the phone, like my wife, when she's calling somebody and she is talking to somebody in a very polite and respectful way, she's like bowing, like, oh, arigatou gozaimashita, sumimasen, gomenasai. Number 5 is health checkup. Now, I know it might sound a little weird or different, I don't know, but this is something when after moving to Japan has become like habit. Because if you work in Japanese company, like in Japan, they have this law or rule that you must have a health checkup. The company is going to actually pay for that, and every year you need to have this general health checkup. Now, after moving here, I've been having my health checkups every year. Now, first year it was like I was a little uncomfortable, I was not used to it, but now I kind of look forward to it, because I'm like, oh, I need to check like what's going on in my body. And it's so helpful, because last time when I had my health checkup, my cholesterol was really high, and now I am like eating food that I should eat and avoiding food that I should avoid. So it's very helpful, but it has kind of become my habit, because also I feel like in Japan, the health checkup system or health insurance system is really good. So when you pay every month, but when you go to the clinic or hospital, you don't have to pay a lot. So it's became like kind of a habit now. Like every time when I feel like something is wrong, I don't like kind of, oh, it will become okay or whatever. I try to go to the hospital and properly get it checked. So it kind of become a routine, like where I try my level best to take care of my health and try to visit the hospital or clinics as much as possible. Not in a way that I want to annoy people and just go because I was coughing or sneezing just a little bit. Not in that way, but anytime when I feel like this is something can get serious, or I should go and get myself checked, I try to go and get a health check. Anyways, that's all for today. See you in the next chapter.